Hi, I'm Reverend Brenda Hunt Moore, and this is my story. Born and raised in Granville County, um, raised in a little community, Berea, North Carolina, and pretty much raised up in the church. Um, been singing gospel since I was 10. Um, Started out singing in the junior choir, and I actually, at 10 years old, didn't know that I could sing. So my uncle had bought a cassette player, so you know how long that's been ago. And so he he wanted to record, I think it was Ike and Tina Turner did Proud Mary. And so he did the the Ike part, and I did the Tina part. So I learned from that at 10 years old that if I listen to a song over and over, that I literally can hear the song playing in my head so that I can sing the song back. And so I learned later in life that that actually is a gift. And so and we did it. And so when he played it back, I was like, wow, that's me. And it was kind of exciting. So I didn't do anything else. And then around about at 11 years old, I was raised up in church, White Rock Missionary Baptist Church, in the same area in the Berea community. And at that time, Reverend Ralph Mangum was the pastor there. And the church it wasn't as built up as it is now. So we didn't have microphones and PAs and speakers and all that stuff. And so what he did was he walked to the front door there, and all of us children were in the choir stand. And he told me, said, I want you to take the air from your belly and push it up to make your sound and your voice be big. And the whole concept of that was, what? And so I practiced it and I did it. And I the first song that I ever sung, I learned it word for word, was Willie Banks, God Goodness. And so I pushed that song out, and and that was the birth. We started being the junior choir. We started singing. He started taking us everywhere, and it was just really exciting. It was really exciting, and being raised up in a home where on Sunday morning, that was the thing. You had to go to Sunday school. You had to go to church, and so and all of that being instilled in me. But I love church and I love to sing. So it became like something really fun for me, and the more I did it, the more I loved it. So yeah. Actually, I my first 2 years in school had not been integrated yet. So I don't think I was old enough to realize all that was happening around me at that time. But my mother was scared to death for me. Um, Going to, because my first 2 years in school, I actually went to Joe Toller Elementary School, which at that time was an all black school. And so when they integrated the schools, that meant that I had to go to Cradle School, which was in Oxford. And at one time, it was a predominantly white school. And so much was going on because it was a change going on here. in the South. And so, but I can remember in the school in particular, one of my elementary school teachers, Miss Hattie Hester, who is currently, she's deceased, but she always would tell me that I had a special gift and that I would be great. And so I choose to believe what she said, that I have a special gift and that I would be great. I know that even to now, if I listen to something repeatedly, it plays in my head so that I can repeat it back to you the way I hear it playing in my head. And so I think that's how I learn music. I cannot play music. I cannot read notes, but I learn pitch, if that makes sense. I learn the pitch of a song. I can't tell even to now. I asked our musician at church, I said, what key did I sing that in? And they had to literally tell me what key I sing it in. But I hear it playing in my head. So I don't know how to express it, only that it's a gift that God gave me that I can often change my voice to sound like what I hear playing in my head. Yes, and then from there, after schools being integrated and everything, and then we came back, actually, Berea had an elementary school. Now it's only the library there now, but at one time it was a full school there. And it actually did have, I believe, like maybe 4th, 5th, and 6th grade there. And I did go, well, yeah, 6th, I believe, up to maybe 8th grade there. And then after that, it was Dan Hicks School. Then so now I get to leave the little Berea community and go to Oxford every day. And it was 9th grade only. And then J.F. Webb, 10th through 12th grade. And that's where I graduated from, J.F. Webb High School. And actually, after graduating from high school, I actually went into the military. And with my MOS, actually, I went on with that being personnel record specialist. But during the time of basic training, I started having seizures. The doctors there could never tell me where the seizures were stemming from, but it was putting me and my fellow soldiers in danger by me, having these seizures, and didn't know where they were coming from. So, but I got an honorable discharge and came out and came back actually to Oxford and just started working some jobs. And then I decided that I would do community college and just went from there. So during that time, I still was singing, and but something started happening to me around about the age of, I would say, my 20s or so, where my gifting was changing, and it seemed like it was being enhanced, and I really couldn't explain the move of God that was happening in my life. How I would be somewhere and just meet someone and would have knowledge of them. And it was weird, and somebody young, I guess a lot of my younger friends thought I was strange, but I found out later, about the gifts of the Holy Spirit and what it mean and how they operate in your life and all of these different things. But far as education wise, and after I did that, I decided after doing community college and getting a job Worked for Northern Telecom for a while, and just life did a whole lot of changes where I found myself actually uh, thinking of myself as being so different that I really moved away from the church. And in my head at that time, I guess I was thinking, if I moved away from the church, then all of these giftings and all these things that the Spirit and God is trying to do in me, He just stopped, because He'll see I don't want it. But I don't know how many know that's not true. So so it it uh it 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 it's it's it was still there, and so it wasn't anything that I could really throw away. Although I went out into the world and did many different things, but it still would draw me right back. As you know, in my 20s, I wanted to do everything everybody else is doing. They drink, I want to drink too. They party, I want to party too. So, but still, even with all of that, still, what God had put in the inside of me, none of that stuff could take it away. So, well, later on in life, I actually did. After I recognized the calling in my life, I did attend theology school. I did go to Apex School of Theology, and I had told God, well, I'd asked Him that when He felt that I had got everything that I needed to get, that would help me, that would enhance how I learn the Word of God, that would enhance how I teach and preach the Word of God, that would enhance how to teach others the Word of God. Let me know when it's enough. So I was there, and I did biblical studies. I had classes that showed me how to write sermons, and how to study the Bible, how to uh, do the different interpretations of it, and as I was getting close to just a bachelor's degree in it, of biblical studies, and so I did finish that. And so I had friends that were saying, you're going to go on for your doctorate, and but about that time, when the next session came up, and I guess that was where God's way of letting me know, because I got revivals on top of revivals on top of revivals. I had no time for school because I was preaching just that much. So, but in all of that, I can say that I've had some wonderful people in my life to that have motivated me and pushed me and encouraged me, and many that I got an opportunity to get close enough to, that I could learn by watching them. There again, here comes this gift playing again, where I can watch you and see what you are doing, that I can mimic it. And so you learn to take those things that are good to mimic and what not to mimic. And that's even in the body of Christ. That's even in ministry. You learn what not to do. Well, I started off uh, working small jobs, but then after going to school and doing uh, administration, I still worked at North Telecom, and then it actually changed names a couple times, and then it closed down. And so we got the opportunity when it did close down. It was, you can take a package deal and find a job somewhere else, or you can take a package deal and you can go back to school. So here I am again, going back to school. So this time I decided that I'm going to do something that I felt like people would always need. And so I went into the medical field. So I went again to local community college, went to Piedmont Tech, and there graduated with medical assisting, and actually was hired on a job actually before I even got licensed for it. Got licensed as a medical assistant. So and started working at Person Family Medical there in Roxborough, and uh, that helping people and meeting people and being able to care for people in that aspect has been very rewarding. And so even in that position, opportunity arose that I could get off of the nursing floor and go into, again, guess what? Administration kind of piece. And I was doing front desk work, and then another opportunity arose in the same place that needed somebody in outreach. So that's what I do now. I work for Person Founded Medical Center, and I'm the outreach coordinator there. And so in that position, we help people. We do a lot of outreach where we are out in the community, letting people know what we offer there in our facility. And not only that, we try to have health fairs, and we just recently had a 50 Shades of Cancer symposium where it was awesome, where TVD 11 was there, and we had a fashion show, and it was just awesome. You probably can go back on our Facebook page and see it. It was just awesome. But even in that, bringing the community together as we supported the survivors, as we encouraged those that are now going through cancer, and even remembered those who lost their fight. And so it's a wonderful event, and we do it every year. And so in the outreach department there at Person Family Medical Center, I also have an opportunity to help people get affordable health care. So being able to explain sometimes, because I help with Medicare as well. So being able to explain to someone their options and the choices that they have, and to let them know that the Affordable Care Act came into play to help everyone, and especially the underserved population, which is, I can say that's basically what our center kind of gears to, because there are a lot of people that don't have understanding. You know, I know that when I get 65, I can get Medicare, or I know that if I become disabled, I can have Medicaid, but what does this really mean for me? And to be in a position where you can actually have someone come into your office and sit down and explain it to them is amazing. And not only that, you'd be surprised. Sometimes I have people come in for insurance, and we end up talking about something that's going on in their lives. And so there I am again, able to minister in different kind of ways. And so it's to me, it's a win-win situation. Yeah. I'm part of a ministry, community cancer awareness group, founded and organized by Miss Debbie Allen. And in this ministry, it is, I have, when she came to my house and told me what God had showed her for this, because she had a lot of people in her family that had cancer, and cancer and having a hardship, that's unthinkable. So in doing this, being a part of this, it has been awesome. Just this year, when this year the ministry has been able to send children with cancer to St. Jude. Matter of fact, I believe we had two children that we were able to, two children with their families, able to send them. And but Debbie, I would say I'm kind of the back person. She really is in the forefront with this ministry, where she literally goes shop for the person that's going through cancer. She go cook for them. She goes clean their house. She goes mow their yard. I mean, and the ministry is about helping. It's about helping. There's not a lot of forms to fill out. It's just, I have cancer and I'm having a hardship. So things like your electric bill, your mortgage, your transportation, making sure you get to your doctor's appointment, making sure you can get the medicines and the care that you need. And so this ministry is very rewarding. And this year, we were blessed to do the service, the yearly service that we do, and God blessed us. We raised over $10,000. This is just people literally giving, giving to the cause. And it has helped so numerous of people, and I enjoy that ministry. Also, I believe that some of my ministry call is to hurting women, to as a young girl, not really feeling a pretty girl, you know what I'm saying, in comparison as I thought to other girls, and to grow up and not value your own self-worth, but still trying to push through life. That in itself is a real journey. So I believe that some of my calling in my ministry is to hurting women. I get a chance to meet women on a whole lot of different levels. Women, especially that are in church, because sometimes we are taught in church not to tell all that we feel, or not to say all how we think. And I don't believe that us having life and having it more abundantly means that we're supposed to stay cramped up within ourselves and not feeling free. So as a preacher that have went through things even while being a preacher, like separation from your husband, in pursuit of a divorce, and rebuilding yourself again as a person first, and so I think sometimes in the body of Christ we forget that people are just people, and we all have our good times and not so good times, and we need to learn. I think it's important to learn how to be there to encourage and to show by your own life how you can get up from different situations. Sometimes it's frowned upon, but we still have to get up. You have to get up past a lot of things, and so I am thankful. I am thankful for people that I had a chance to be around and to learn from, people like especially female pastors. I like Pastor Penny, Pastor Tanya Cunningham, you know, just to see these women, in action, and to know that you can move from this point in life to your next step in life, all while carrying your anointing. And so, in first of all, I am thankful for being able to just rebuild. I think I had to come to a point where I had to rebuild and reinvent myself. And what I mean by that is, when you have any kind of brokenness in your life, you have to make a decision. Either I'm going to get up from this, or I'm going to sit down in it. And so the decision and the choice is yours. But when you see somebody else that may have been where you are and they get up, then it encourages you to get up. And so I I don't know, having such a good, I guess, support system makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. When you go into any church, just think about the average church you go into. What is the ratio of women versus men? And if you were to take that ratio away, in other words, if you were to take the number of women that you had and just say, for this month, no more women come to church, what would you have? So I think that within itself, and it not just now, but from forever, uh, women have played a major role in the church and in society. The issue has been is that the how it was orchestrated from the beginning was for man to have dominion, and not only just over the earth, but he was supposed to be the leader and the guider in the family. And so because he was the leader and the guider in the family, of course that would spill over to the church. But then what happened was that a lot of men didn't step into their roles. So what that means? So that means where all those empty roles were, here comes the woman. And she steps into this role. And I will say that even to now, you're not going to believe this. I know you're not going to believe this. But even to now, I go places to preach for pastors that really don't have respect for women preachers. And I take it all with a grain of salt simply because I know who I am. And I feel like the importance of it is that as speaking from a woman's perspective, is that I really don't want to take a man's place. I just want to fulfill what I'm supposed to do in my place. And so I already know that I'm anointed and appointed for the position that I'm in, and that there is no way I could do it without the power of Jesus Christ. And I know that that I have nothing actually to prove. I do not. And so women now, especially in ministry, there are a lot of women in ministry now. And when I open the Bible and see the women that actually traveled with Jesus, I was like, oh, So somebody's not reading with an understanding. And when I read in the Bible where there were actually women, prophets and uh, strong women, I was like, somebody is missing the real value. And I feel like standing together with my male counterpart, oh man, we can conquer so much. But I also see women that sometimes don't want to bring this thing together so we can be as one. And that's another important aspect, because if I'm standing for the right and you're standing for the right and the two of us connect together, oh my God, that's explosive. So I believe that women now in this century are doing some powerful things. We've never had a female vice president, but we do now. And we've never had a female Black vice president, but we do now. So women are making some great strides in the world. We're doing some awesome things. We're more educated than we used to be. We speak of our rights more than we used to, and I think we're stronger than we used to be. And it's not that this means that we should overpower our brother. No, but it does mean that we should stand with them and walk with them, but still be strong in our places. So I believe. There are many. And my first great motivator, I can say, was my mom. Because when we started from the junior choir to the young adult choir to the group, the Gospel Angels, my mom would be standing beside me singing. And it wasn't until the Gospel Angels kind of went different ways. I started preaching. Another member, Sister Patricia Thorpe, who is now deceased, she started preaching. My son was with us, but now he's in the church and he's over all the choirs, all the music there. And so the group kind of like dissipated, but she always was my number one fan and the person that motivated me the most to tell me, you can do this. God has a special plan for you. Always did, And so those are the things. But not only her, I've been preaching now for 20 years. I got ordained as a Baptist preacher in 2015. So I think I'm right. Yeah. And start preaching 2003. So it's interesting. It's been a steep journey. I've learned a lot, and I've seen a lot, and I've done a lot. So and the opportunity that I've been afforded, and I've sung a lot of places, not just in this state. I've had a chance to sing in Connecticut, and Delaware, and Maryland, and New Jersey, not just in the South, but North Carolina extensively as well. And when I was small in the junior choir, as I said, we used to go places to sing, and they'd be like, "Where's that little girl with that big voice?" So I learned a long time ago. I didn't know it was bringing air from my diaphragm at that time, but I learned that how to breathe And that was from being in high school. All through high school, I was in chorus. So those are the things that I learned. And that's how I think back over my life. It's like God always had orchestrated, even when I stepped off to try to be like other young girls, still he was there orchestrating my steps. Yeah. So being in Preston County, working and going to church there, I got an opportunity to meet a lot of Presonians, especially working there. And so people like Libra Nicole Boyd motivates me, because every time we go to rehearsal together, she's letting me know, I have confidence in that you can do this. I have confidence in that you can go to this note. And I have, and to me, that's like, this is a person that has studied this, everything I believe there is to know about music. And she's telling me that she believes I can do something. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's awesome. To see Pastor Tanya Penny come and pastor the First Baptist Church in Preston County, being the first female pastor to pastor that church. I'm just at awe and inspired by that. So what this tells me is that when my time comes, I have watched someone that did it, so I can do it. Pastor Tanya Cunningham, another person that inspires me. But then there are people like the local mothers in the church that inspire you, that tell you that you can move forward. I'm never going to forget the mother of the church here at White Rock, Mother Beatrice Thorpe. Ever since I was a little girl of 10 years old, this woman, every time she sees me, tells me that you're doing good work. Keep doing your work, baby. Keep working for the Lord. And you don't know that word rooted and seated in me. And not only that, as far as Presonians, even my coworker, Jennifer Day, oh my God, we work in the outreach department together, and this woman knows so much about marketing. I am lost when it comes to marketing, okay? But she knows everything about marketing, but she takes the opportunity to take what she knows and give it to me and repeat it to me. I told you in the beginning that if it's repeated to me, I'll learn it and repeat it back. And she inspires me, to be the best. I used to look at a piece of paper and all I could see putting on it was a circle and some paint in the middle of the circle. But now I can look at the paper and see beyond the circle and the paint and see something else. And that was all because of being motivated and being inspired that you can do this. And you just don't know the difference that makes even to children. When you instill in a child, yes, you can do this. You can do this. I have one son, and I knew when that child was in my stomach that he was going to be anointed to sing. I already knew. Why? I sang to him every time, all the time, while I was carrying him. And many times when I was singing to him, he would be moving. And I knew, and so he used to watch me when he was little sing. So he used to try to get up and sing. So the kind of spirituals came out with a song, On My Way Home. That was his first song that he learned. Remember I told you I learned Willie Banks. He learned the kind of spirituals. And he learned that song, and he would just put his all into that song. You know why? Because every time he saw me sing, that's what I did. I put my all into it. And so watching other people do great things is inspiring to me.
And it motivates me to know that I can do great things as well. I would love to see Person County being built up to be greater in that we will all begin to just see each other as human beings. Past color, past education, past physical looks, but just all coming together. I envision that. And I feel like it's gravitating toward that way. And maybe it's not in a greater capacity as I would love to see right now, but I see it moving that way. And I don't think that we need more structures and put names on them and call them churches. But what I believe is that what we already have, if we would all come together to learn how to worship this same God that we say we love, to enjoy life together, and to be able to help and to build up one another, and just go forward. Actually, when you ride through Person County, it's a beautiful place. And what makes a place more beautiful is when the people that are there learn to share in the greatness of that place. I believe that. I believe that. Oh my Lord. Well, what I would say, if you're a young girl, have self-love. Know that you're beautiful, not just outside, but inside. Love your parents, and if your parents are not in your life, and then it's with grandparents or whatever the adult is, learn to take heed to what they say to you, and find people that are doing great things and things that you would love to do in life, and find a way to build a relationship with that person, so you get the opportunity to watch their life, and perhaps you might have the same gift that I have, where you can watch their life until you can mimic their life. And so I believe that a certain amount of greatness is in every person. And I want to be the person that, the woman that you can come to me. I want to be approachable, where and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. I think we're living in a time now where I'm seeing it a lot in schools and even in church, where teenagers get to be maybe 13 or 14, and the responsibility of maybe caring for a little brother or sister becomes theirs, because the parent got to work. And so now they've lost themselves because they're taking on another role, and almost trapped within themselves and don't know where to go from here. And so I say that I just want to be a person that is open and approachable, where you can come to me and talk about anything. And I'll say to any young girl, live your best life. That's all I know. Live your best life, and just and be happy. Yeah, be happy.